Hi, everyone. If you landed here, you've landed on the most effed up show on Facebook, Rumble, Instagram, YouTube. It's Let's Talk News, and I'm your host, Leticia Remauro. And I'm going to give you all an assignment tonight. If you see that I'm starting to slowly descend in the screen, tell me because my chair is broken. And I have to order another one. I knew my chair was broken yesterday. You would think that I would have ordered the chair yesterday, but you would be wrong. Good to see you all. Oh, Kevin is already here. How are you on this lovely afternoon, Kevin? Good to have you with us. Kevin, is it? It's summer there, right? So how hot is it over in your neck of the woods right now? Hello, Francine. Good to have you. Hi, Debbie. Good to have you. Boy, we've got lots of things to talk about. Um, Mostly Daddy's going to Davos, and so I am so excited about that. Um, Hi, Karen. How are you? Good to have you. Thank you so much for joining us. Hi, Kevin Young. Good to have you. So we have a Young and a Wall, and that's how I'm going to have to address you, Kevin Young, Kevin Wall. Um, yeah. So Daddy's going to Davos, and for the first time, and I can't even imagine how long. Um, we're not going to be talking about DEI or climate change. We're going to be talking about actual economics at the World Economic Council. I'm so excited about that. Um, Francine is saying hi to Karen, and Andrew Dorman is with us. Good to have you, Andrew. It's good temp, about 25 or so. Wow, that's hot, pretty hot. Good enough for a sunburn, right? Hello, Angela Ricca. Good to have you. So I think it's just hysterical that we have seen so many of these world economic councils focus on social issues and not economic issues. But I believe that that was done intentionally because now we're starting to see all the cockroaches come out of the woodwork. You saw that England is turning over property, strategic property to China. Hmm, that's interesting. Wondering what could have motivated that. And Trump went crazy on Truth Social, calling them a bunch of pussies. Um, I might be paraphrasing, but in essence, he was calling them a bunch of pussies. Hi, Sal. Good to have you here. There. Uh, yeah, so the cloak is coming off of all of our allies who pretended to want to see America rise or pretended to want to be a partner with us. And listen, we know that batshit bonkers Britain, as one of my favorite comedians says, has lost their mind a long time ago and they've lost their way. But it's amazing that they'd rather be in the pocket of China than the United States. So, what do you think they know? Do they know that the labyrinth has been set and the trap has been set, and maybe America will not be able to pull out? Hi, Kyle. Good to have you. I'm laughing because yesterday, Kyle and I were talking about, Trump saying that he was going to reduce prescription drugs by 100, 300, 700, 600%. And Colleen says, that is impossible. And I said, I got it, but I think it sounded better because the drug prices rose by 1,000% over time. And, because she's an accountant, it made her cringe, and I get it. But today he did it again, Kyle. I almost put the clip in, but I decided no. At the press conference, he said it again. Said that he was going to reduce drug prices by more than 100%. And I'm not gonna nail him to a cross for that because I know what he's doing. We say it. We a lot of us Brooklyn people will say, "Oh yeah, 1,000%, 1,000%." When we're with something, or 600%, and there's, yeah. So anyway, but let's get back. I don't want to digress. I want to know how many of you believe that the pacification of America is complete and that even though we have Daddy as the president, who doesn't back down and is no bullshit, do you think that the next president will keep toeing that line? And do you think that that he can stave off the Democrats who are going to, if they take the House and Senate, will impeach him? And of course, it'll be all out. I don't even want to think about what will happen if they try to remove Trump from office. It will not be a good thing. But what do you think? Hello, Gloria. Good to have you. On Laura Ingraham, they were saying lots of Chinese billionaires exploiting U.S. surrogacy laws. Chinese guys has 100 children here by a surrogate, so those kids are now U.S. citizens. Yeah, they used to do that. What was that called? First Night. I think if you would have seen Braveheart. The English used to do that when they would conquer a land. They would give the whatever it was, the governor of the land. I mean, they used to put people in charge in surrogacy of the king, and if they got engaged, whoever it was that was in control of the area would have the right to sleep with the woman before her husband so that they could inject English blood into wherever they conquered. The Vikings used to do it too. I guess everybody did. So the Chinese are going backward. They're using technology in our laws to infiltrate. And the interesting thing was Nostradamus said the Chinese man will rule the world. And that might be the way it happens. Who knows? Or do they owe China so much and can't risk calling in the loans? I would think that they would. That's a good point. But I would think that they would think that we would work with them to cover their debt. You'd think Melania would have corrected him yesterday. Yeah, but she knows the numbers too. I think it all depends who the next president is. If it stays in the Republican Party, then I think they would follow the footsteps of Donald Trump. But could anybody really be Donald Trump? You know what I mean? I don't think we're ever going to have anybody like him again. Reagan was a truly unique individual, and he was a fantastic president. Bill Clinton broke the mold of what we knew presidents to be, right? He became a folksy kind of guy when we never really had a president like that before. I'm not saying he was a great president, but he was pretty good for the economy, mostly because of the cooperation he got with Congress. I don't know if we could ever have another Donald Trump. Just thinking out loud, trying to project into the future and figure out how to lay the groundwork to overcome any hurdles we may have. It is complete as far as our president, but the three parts of government are deeply corrupt. So it's going to be an uphill battle. Yeah, it is. I agree. I mean, we have just destroyed this country. While we were all looking at television and our phones, we allowed our country to be taken from us. It really is sad. Shouldn't most of the Dems be in jail by the time Trump's term ends? You can't get them all in jail, Gloria. Not enough prisons. What's taking so long to arrest the people that disrupted the church service? And starting with Don Lemon, that piece of shit. Wow. Since you asked, for those of you who might not have seen, let's play the Don Lemon clip. This is just a portion of one of the interviews he was doing in that church service where the protesters in Minnesota came in and disrupted. I had so many angles and so many things, but the show's too short. Here.
Same time, these are what are called targeted interventions by ICE to keep the American people safe.
If I respectfully may interject here, I've been out reporting on a lot of these, and they're not targeted. There are no warrants signed by a judge, let me finish. And they're American citizens, many of them. Most of the people that they detain don't have criminal convictions or criminal records.
I'm not going to get into the weeds.
But you should know that, though. Don't you think that's part of it?
Yes, and I could also show you many opposing sides, where we're also picking up the very criminals that have put Americans in danger. And I'm not saying it's pretty. I'm not saying it's not messy. I'm not saying it couldn't be better. I'm saying this is a part of a much larger dialogue in which one administration caused a great deal of chaos and havoc and danger for American citizens, and another is trying to correct that.
Do you believe that? Why honestly,
Okay.
let me talk to you just on the
You're not
facts.
a journalist.
Yes, I am. I want to give you the facts.
No.
Did you know that undocumented people and immigrants commit far less crime than American citizens?
We're done here. We're done here.
Than natural-born Americans? You won't listen.
If you could ask,
I'm giving you the facts. It is.
Give me facts. I would have a conversation.
But I can respond to you.
No,
but
did Jesus stand with the oppressed?
Because he doesn't want to listen to facts. That's the interesting thing about this, is that they won't listen to facts.
No.
You won't, because
when you pose as a journalist,
I am a journalist. Journalists give facts.
And then you start correcting me with facts and don't have.
You shouldn't hear the facts.
Of course, I
most
should
of the
hear
people who are picked up
but will
are
you
not.
Give me the facts on both sides.
That is the facts on both sides. Most of the people who are picked up and are detained are not convicted. They have no criminal convictions. They have no criminal records. None. That immigrants commit far less crime than native-born Americans. So they won't listen to the facts. Anyways, these folks are still out here.
You're not a journalist. That is a fact. That is a 100% fact, Don Lemon. You're not a journalist, because the facts that you were trying to give him are incorrect facts. In fact, 70% of the people that ICE arrests have criminal convictions. 70%. 30%, yes, don't have criminal convictions. We talked about that yesterday. But as far as that is exactly the problem with journalism today. It's not journalism. It's Don Lemon is not a journalist. He has shown himself to be an opportunist, number one, and he's one of the protesters. That's what he is. So just incredible. Let's see. One Trump, a businessman, a TV mogul, a real estate mogul, no drinking or smoking. He's brilliant. He broke the mold. He did. Absolutely did. Reagan is the best joke teller of all time. 100 million%. Did that for you, Colleen. He's, and that's, where people, they always said, you want to get the crowd's attention, tell a joke. Trump tells jokes as he speaks, but he speaks too long. And I don't know that I have the clip, but at one point he was kind of lambasting, not in a bad way, the press for not reporting on the facts. But I think that the problem is he speaks so much that they pick and choose. He speaks too long. He needs to rein it in a little bit. Everybody owes China money. Yeah, well, we let it happen. If Trump was not elected, we wouldn't have known any of this. You are 100% correct. Vance is pretty ballsy. He is pretty ballsy, but he doesn't have the je ne sais quoi that Trump has. He doesn't have the background that Trump has. He's got a different background, and it's a cool background, but nobody is Donald Trump. He was known worldwide. Oh, and did you see that the Vances announced that they're having another baby? I wonder, is that ever? I don't think it ever happened in America before. I might be wrong. Well, no, that's not true, right? Because Mary Todd Lincoln actually gave birth, actually lost a baby when they were in the White House. So I guess the Vances are, hopefully the baby will be fine. But I think that, yeah, she had kids in the White House, or she was pregnant at least. Hi, Susan. Hi, Lucille. Good to have you. Let's see. This is a big one. Let's see if I get it all. Why did Don Lemon have security? He's not illegal, so he can't be afraid of ICE. Is he afraid of the Christian worshipers? Is church attacking him as they sing, "How Great Thou Art"? Oh, wait, there are violent protesters there. And if he was a real journalist, he would know you cannot go into a public place to protest. Just stay outside. That's legal. You're right. And there's going to be charges for everybody. The difference is we deal with American criminals, but the crimes committed by illegals never should have happened here. Well, but that's what, we have the right. If you come to this country, even if you become an American citizen, if you are naturalized, and check me on this. I'm pretty sure I am correct. I'm pretty sure. Because when you lift your hand and say the oath and say that you are going to be an American and abide by all the laws, I do think that you can be deported or your citizenship can be revoked if you commit crimes against America. I don't mean petty crimes like, drunk driving. I mean crimes against America, if you're spying and things like that. We got to check on that. And Lemon is married to a white man. The white man, he said, were greatest threat to America and racist. Listen, I heard something. You sent it to me today, Kyle, where the insanity of the left is just complete. It's just complete. What did Trump take to lose weight fast? I don't think he did. As a matter of fact, Kennedy says that he has the worst diet of anybody he knows. Trump is one of a kind. Nobody else can do what he does. 100% US. I agree. Reagan was the best joke teller ever, especially known as a great communicator. He sure was. And don't forget, Trump didn't and doesn't need anyone's money. He is self-made. That's very important. And he's the only president who left office poorer than he came into office. All right, so he held a press conference today. It was a big press conference today. Long, hour and a half, and then another hour taking questions, which I do not like him doing. I hate it. He has not taking questions. He should always take questions. I just hate that he talks so long. He needs to make his point and stay on point. But he rambles and, what does he call it? Meandering. And that's no good. The press knows how to play him to do that, and I don't care for it. All right, here's Trump on bail.
We began the process of eliminating the cashless bail. Well, cashless bail is where it all started. It's a disaster. And then other places. I don't know if it started in New York. I remember it starting in New York. So if somebody comes in, murders somebody, and they let him out, no bail, no nothing. Basically, cashless bail means you just get the hell out. And they go outside. We have one case where a guy murders somebody, gets released, and goes out and murders somebody. 2 people in one day. No, we got to get rid of cashless bail. They got to pay, got to have bail. There's a reason for bail, long tested.
Yeah, it's in the Constitution, actually, bail. I don't know how many people know that, but the right to bail, and it's cash bail. It's not just, okay, we let you out. It's bail. Bail is in the Constitution. You have a right to it, but it is an exchange of money for temporary release. And I think this cashless bail is unconstitutional. Let's see. Yeah. Aloha, Santillion. Good to have you. Yes, way too long. He talks too much. 100%. He does. Open legislation tomorrow at the Capitol in Honolulu. Oh, really? What does that mean? Open legislation exactly? Get to the point. Yeah. Yeah. If he just spoke in sound bites like other politicians, he'd be great. But then that's why people love him, is because they feel like he's one of us. He's got to find that middle ground. He's just got to find that middle ground. Yeah, I get it. But tell me what open legislation means, Santillion. I don't know. Okay, here he is on border and jobs. These are the things that he accomplished. It was so much more than this. I just couldn't go through it all.
Illegal crossings have plummeted to the lowest level ever recorded, down 99.999%. For the first time in 50 years, we are now seeing reverse migration, where because we're getting all of these illegal people out. Under Trump, 100% of all new jobs created have been in the private sector. Think of that. Not 1% has gone to federal. So under Biden, 1 out of 4 was a government job. Under Trump, 100% of the new jobs created, 100% came from the private sector. That's how you make your country wealthy and strong and good. Before my election, 100% of net job creation was going to foreign migrants. Since my inauguration, 100% of the net jobs created have gone to American-born citizens. That's a big thing. In other words, we're now taking care of our people.
So that's a big deal. That's a huge deal. In fact, that because the Democrats, when they want the job numbers to look good, they just hire a whole bunch of people into the federal government. or the state government and local government. And they say, oh, we created jobs. The jobs Trump creates are private sector jobs. Big difference, but we don't hear about it. We don't hear about it because he says 1,000 other things in there, and all of it's news. Every word out of his mouth, because he's the president, is news. Even when he wasn't the president, it was news. Oh, am I sinking? Okay, hold on. All right. Let's see. My chair is starting to go down. Let's see. I'll adjust my screen. Thank you, Debbie. It doesn't help that I'm fat too. I need a heavy duty chair. Eat food and bring up proposals. Oh, is that what they? Oh. So it's like, like we do with the budget. Like we did in the budget in New York City. We had everybody sit around and decide what budget stuff would happen. Trump interview tonight on News Nation at 10 p.m. Oh, good. Thanks, Kyle. That's good. Trump loves to talk, and enjoyment is good at it. And no, I agree. But he's just got to starve the press a little bit. If he wants his story to get out, he can't. Repeating it 6 times doesn't get it in the press. Repeating it 6 times and then saying nothing else will get it in the press. Because what else they're going to do? If you don't give them anything else, then they'll report on it. Bring it up to our elected state representatives. Yeah, I get it. Open legislation. It makes sense. They call, I forget what they call it, a community budgeting in New York City. Colleen Mahoney, Only News Nation. How about other networks? He's doing really good getting around even to the small ones. I like that. I wish we could spend a day with him and his family, just like 10 of us, and them for 5 hours. I think he would laugh a lot. I think he laughs a lot. I think he watches the show. I find a lot of the thing. I know Fox watches the show because, I like him. My brain, I is so angry because I cut stuff that I, got the inside scoop on, and I don't put it on social media. And then they got the scoop too, and it pisses me off. And then we're talking about the same thing almost every day. I tune out after a while when he talks too long. So does everybody else. So they only get what they get, and I don't like it. He needs to talk shorter. President Trump, I love you. And you know that I'm pretty good at PR. Please listen to me. Please, please, please. Piano, piano. Soft, small. Okay? Un po. Tiny, small. Only give them your talking points. Don't be having this whole long conversation with the press. You want to have it with America? You can, but not with the press. Only News Nation because it's with their reporter. Yeah, he's giving all of the stations an opportunity. All right, this one's a little longer. This one's the jobs and trade, and I think this is, and he's right. He said in there, you guys don't pick it up, but I clipped it.
Under Biden, real incomes declined $3,000. Think of that, $3,000. That's a year. In 12 months, Trump real incomes went up by $2,000 and $3,000 and even in some cases $5,000. It's a tremendous difference. Stock market has set 52 all-time record highs during the course of the 11 months, because this was done on 11 months. Now we are actually officially 12 months as of today. We added $9 trillion of value to retirement accounts, savings accounts, and 401ks. We have a 62% reduction in our trade deficit. So if you had a 1% reduction, a normal president would have a 1%, 2% reduction. Everybody would be high-fiving. Had a 62% reduction. Next year we won't have a trade deficit. We secured most favored nations agreements to slash drug prices by as much. And to me, I think this might be the biggest thing of all. We get zero talk about it. The New York Times had a story way in the back of the paper, a little story about it. I think it's the biggest thing there is when you talk about health care. Drug prices will go down more than ever before for any country because we were priced at such a level that we were subsidizing the entire world, big place in the world. We slashed the federal budget deficit by 27% in a single year. Think of that, 27. You could do it 2%, 1%, 0.5%, 27%. We secured historic trade deals to reduce barriers on U.S. exports with countries covering 40% of all U.S. trade. Think of that. American exports are up by more than $150 billion this year. Investment in American factories is up 41%. That's a record.
So who hears about this? If you're not watching Fox, you don't hear about it. And even Fox, we don't hear about everything. Yes, we love him and he's hard to take in big doses. It's just you have things to do. And I've said it before, and I said it not to his face, to others around him, to tell him Americans don't want to get up and think about their president every day. They don't. They don't want to think about their government every day. Americans want to get up and do life, because most people don't consider, government and politics life. They want to just know that they're taken care of. And a 2-hour press conference, it just makes them have to think about their government every day and their president every day. And then, and it gives them something to say every day, the negative ones. Hi, Tom. Good to have you. He can't help himself. I know he can't, because he's always been that way. He's always been available for the press. Mr. Trump loves spending time with his people. Yes, fans. Yeah, well, that's the truth. He needs those people. He needs the feedback. Big pharma price hit me hard for my wife's prescriptions because I make too much in Hawaii. Well, he says that it's going down, and I think it will. Gold is up 60% since I bought it last year. It's at $4,772 and silver at 91, 200% higher than I paid. That's fantastic. The 401ks are doing good, but we need the regular stuff, right? And he talked about it, that the average price of gas now is $2.30, but in California and Illinois and in New York, it's not going down that much because they're putting more taxes on it, because they don't want it to look like he succeeds. And if they can rake in the cash, they will. President Trump, don't give ammo to the fake news. They suck, and they'll never give you the credit you deserve. We love you. Yes, we do. And it's true, Susan. That's a very good point. And Colleen saying hi to Tom. Colleen, I have a shoebox of scrap gold just waiting because it's going to hit 5,000. Me too. Hawaii is $4.98 for gas. That's crazy. I mean, it's always higher in Hawaii because, it's got to be imported. But still, I mean, that's crazy. All right. Martin Lee is here. No matter how sharp he is, he, like me and all of us, septuagenarians, is subject to short-term memory loss and repeating what he said 60 seconds ago. Common aging hazard. I agree. I think he's sharper than most, Martin. But this is how he's used to speaking, to try and get the press to get the point. But he doesn't realize that, as president, it's not the same as when he was a private citizen. Everything he says will be reported on, everything. And he makes their ratings go higher. He just needs to take a minute. All right. Can you see? Yes, you can. Okay. So before we get to Davos, this is what the Secretary General of NATO sent to President Trump. His name is Mark Rutte, Rutte. And Mr. President, dear Donald, what you accomplished in Syria today is incredible. I will use my media engagements in Davos to highlight your work there in Gaza and in Ukraine. I am committed to finding a way forward on Greenland. Can't wait to see you. Yours, Mark. Some of the news media was giving Trump shit for exposing that. What he did in Syria was he stopped a breakout of terrorists from a prison, and he really our military is fucking phenomenal, just fucking phenomenal, and he is a fantastic commander-in-chief. So why did he do that? Pressure. And the fact that we see England giving over Diego, whatever that island is, to the Chinese, just shows you that there are people in this world that will never stop kowtowing to China, and why Trump needs to be as determined as he is. And if anyone can't see that for what it is, then they're children. They have no concept of the world and how things work, economically speaking, security. And I think that's what's going to happen in Davos tomorrow. I think in Davos tomorrow, we're going to finally see people talking about the economics of the world, tariffs and things like that, trade. We're going to see them talking about national security for every country and what will keep the region safe. And Trump is going to lead that. Since gas is lower, it should trickle down to food costs, should be coming down. This needs to be monitored. It is coming down, depending on where you live. I'm paying $1.89 for chicken cutlets, for God's sakes. And I think our eggs are back to 98 cents a dozen. I mean, it's ridiculous down here how much I bought dinner for 4 people for 4 nights for $60 recently. And part of it was prime rib. So, you remember when the beef was going sky high? He got that under control too. But it does depend on where you live, because these states have their own taxes that they put on the purveyors that come in. Poor President Trump inherited so much crap. God bless him and keep him. He is amazing. He is amazing, and God bless him is true. There is no reason for the high prices for goods. The elites took out all the refinery plants. They bought all the land, so nothing can be grown. Empty buildings are all owned by Chinese investors. That's in Hawaii, huh? Oh, God. It's like Hawaii is another country. It's just crazy. 3-time Gulf vet, and not one president has the balls Trump's got, right? And they said that he was a war dodger, right? Because he was in the ROTC or college or whatever, and so he didn't have to go to war. I just can't. I can't. I love him, and this is, and I was the one that had to be convinced. Remember, I was Pataki first, and Marco Rubio, who has a lot of big balls. Marco Rubio has big balls. I think even bigger than Vance's. The problem with Marco is his stature is not that big. And I think that I know that we've seen, smaller guys get big jobs, but when he stands next to Vance, it makes a difference. It does. Greenland will protect us from China and Russia, and we are keeping the region safe. Yes, and that's what this is all about. Hawaii is screwed. Who knows, though? I mean, Robert, don't count him out yet. Don't count him out. And you're there, and you're pushing back, and that's important. And Greenland is blue, so it shouldn't be a state due to seats in government. So he has to figure it out. Well, it would be a territory, just like, Dominican Republic, and Puerto Rico is a commonwealth, right? I mean, so there's other things. It doesn't have to be a state. Okay, so tomorrow he really goes to Davos, and I know that we are going to really see interesting stuff. So join me tomorrow, and I'll be on top of it. I have some ears on the ground, and maybe I'll get some clips. And in the meantime, say lots of prayers for him. And just, just send him with our minds. Let's all send him with our minds. Little sound bites. We don't need to have those full-blown 2-hour conversations. Let the news starve for information. Hawaii is not a state, right? It's a commonwealth. I mean, it has a state status, but is it What is it, Robert? Trump, please come here. Yeah, he should come there. He really should. Good night, everybody. I will see you tomorrow at 8:00. Bye. Share the show.